Welcome to the podcast, Beyond Expectations, Parenting Autism. Follow Michelle Chabola's journey of raising a child with autism, the challenges, victories, and rewards. If you're a parent, caregiver, or simply someone seeking to understand autism on a personal level, you're in the right place.
All right, I believe I hit recording. All right, here we are with Sean and Mario and Courtney on Beyond Expectations. We're so glad to have you guys here and talk about Gregory and what it's been like since you met him. And how was it when you first met him? And what did you think? And how has your relationship with him revolved?
You know, we were obviously friends with his aunt, and then we became friendly with you, Michelle, and then his uncle, Sean. So we love the whole family, and Gregory was just an extension of that. He's just a warm, beautiful soul and a sweetheart. And we always look forward to our annual Hollywood Horror Nights trip. And when he visits us in Orlando at Universal, you know, my kids love him. And he's just always a joy and a pleasure to be around.
I come from a great family, of course. Well, we fell in love with Gregory from day one. How can you not? He's just a sweet soul, and he's so talented. Blown away to learn everything that he does. I couldn't even begin to understand or comprehend or do any of the woodcutting like how he does it. He's just an exception.
Yeah, we get great Christmas gifts. I love
it. So how old was Gregory when you guys first met him?
Gee, I don't know how long has it been, Michelle, but at least
you met
10 years, right?
2012.
Yeah, what is that?
2012,
14 wow,
14 years ago. I'm going like this.
Wow, so you've seen a lot. You've seen a lot of the development. And so we put this show together for Michelle to be able to share her experience with Gregory and to try to help parents, because as you can imagine, when you get this diagnosis for your child, the amount of pressure and stress you might go through, and then you feel like you're a little lost. And so what's fascinating about having you guys here is that you've seen sort of his whole adult progression. And I think when I think about sort of our core mission of message to parents, it might be interesting to ask sort of like, when you first met Gregory, did you have any experience dealing with people with autism or have any expectations? And then all of our messages are like, what should parents be doing in that time that they have with a child to prepare them for sort of social interactions?
Well, he's blessed to have a loving, supportive family. That's number one, and not everyone, unfortunately, has that. But we've had people in our lives who have had autism in their children. One of my cousins, who we're close with too, I believe you actually met her, Michelle, too. Her son was diagnosed as well, and again, they're a loving, supporting family, and we, of course, love and support him as well. And it's just one of those things that you kind of rally around, and as a family and comes together. You kind of want to be there and support as much as you can, but you're just kind of growing, and everyone's sort of first time, right? So and they get older, you're sort of evolving with them and learning kind of how to adapt and what works. And I know I'm learning as far as there's different sort of degrees of the spectrum and what that all entails.
I think too, it was a blessing to meet you guys, because at the time when we met you, we didn't know that we were going to have Mario's cousin was going to have autism, and had a baby with autism. So after meeting you and talking to you, Michelle, hearing your journey and your story and everything you did for Gregory, it allowed us to introduce you to people that needed you and needed your expertise in that area, because nobody knows what to do when you're diagnosed with that. And so I believe we met you for a reason, to introduce other people in the world that
yeah. I think that's right. I think that's right as well. It's just been pretty cool, because you've just seen Gregory go from like 20 to 30.
No,
Wow.
16 to 31.
16 to 31. Wow. And you got to see him regularly, like 2-3 times a year. You have now these traditions.
Yeah, consistently. Yeah, consistently.
2 or 3 times a year.
And I think these traditions, guys, are super valuable to us, and we really appreciate what you've done for Gregory. But maybe tell the audience like what this what it's like to be friends with the Lopez family. What is Gregory up to these days with you guys?
Well, you know, again, every time we get to hang with him, we're always having a good time, whether it's at a theme park or he's visiting me, shooting the show. And we're going to be doing another show in Florida too. Maybe you guys can come and visit us over there too. Michelle, we always like to kind of include you. I know we've gotten together in Austin when where you live as well. So that's always, I think you were there, honey. I know. You got together
we
on
got
your own.
our lunch.
Just recently. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. So whenever we're in town, your town, or you're in our town, we always try to make it a point to kind of get together. And Gregory's never in a bad mood. He's always a sweetheart, always just a, you know, a pleasure to be around. I wish more people had that demeanor and way about them.
I know. We talk about he's one of my favorite people to be around because he does seem to always have such a positive outlook. And I think his own level of empathy, you know, hurts him a little bit because he feels everyone else's stress. He feels everyone's emotions so strongly. I think for those of us that get to be around him, it's, you know, a little bit of that stress is offloaded onto him, and he's always very attentive and understanding what you're doing. I think that's like the gift side of autism is this extreme level of sensitivity and empathy for the people around him. And I know that Michelle was telling me that when he's around a baby, he gets super nervous because he's so worried about the baby.
I know. And one thing I love is when we go to horror nights, because even though we've done it for a decade.
Yeah, tell us, what is this horror night thing? This has become like a 6 or 7 year tradition, right, with you guys?
Or longer. I'm trying to picture.
So it's my favorite time of year. October is my favorite time of year. Halloween is my favorite holiday. And we just started coming here when, you know, it's right here. And I go, please, can we make it an annual thing? So we did. And then Michelle and Gregory started to join one time, and it just became, you know, they're a staple every year. We don't want to,
this is like
schedule.
But just so you know what it is, they take the whole backlot of Universal Studios and they work on it all year, and they create these huge haunted houses, elaborate, very expensive, just wild haunted houses. And every year they change them up, and it's usually tied into like a movie theme. And they come and scare the crap out of you, basically, running around with chainsaws. And it's just
it sounds frightening. So, and Gregory, like with his, because he's got, you know, a lot of senses coming into him. He's super sensitive. He's aware of all these surroundings. It seems like not the environment I would expect him to thrive in.
He does.
Chase you with chainsaws.
He leads the charge.
First.
They let him take over, Sean. I'm in the back of the bus. He's in the front with Mario and Courtney. I'm nobody. I'm just like his Sherpa. And it is the most unbelievable thing that you've ever seen. He eats the meal with them. I mean, truly, it's like I'm not even there. He eats with them, he sits with them, he hangs with them, and they let him lead the whole pack. They spoil him rotten.
I love watching him go through the mazes because they're different every year, but it's just every year it's like there's an innocence there. There's something there that, you know, you want your child to have forever, you know, and never grow out of. And it's just an amazing thing to see. And he's just always in the moment and loves it so much. And yeah, he leads us and takes some of the scares.
Yeah, it's a good time.
God bless him.
They've given him way more independence. They even realize what they've done. And then we meet him in Orlando almost annually, and they do this Mardi Gras parade. And this year, Mario just booked Gregory and not his mom. And I'm like, what's going on?
Nice.
And he's like, chill, Michelle. It's going to be fine. I'm like, Mario, he's going to be on this float by himself. And he just looks at me like, okay.
So Gregory gets to go in the parade with you?
Everybody.
Yeah. So he just gets on the float with everybody. And of course, I'm trying to find guys I know. I'm making Tootie and Blake be with him. And Mario and Courtney are like, whatever, see you later, Mom. And take him away. And he's on this float going through the park. It's unbelievable. It really is.
It's a good time.
Yeah, it's a good time. They give him a lot more independence than they even realize. And they do way more for him than they realize too. It's really fun. He looks forward to it every year.
Man, that is pretty amazing. And I think that sense of normalcy, that sense of treating him like everybody else is such a huge gift to him because, from my perspective, when someone has autism, there's always a risk that people kind of over index a little bit and start to not treat them, as an adult and to the full extent of their capabilities. And I think Michelle's message has been pretty solid here that the capabilities are significant and there's always a danger to expect too much, but there's almost as big a danger to not expect enough from a child with autism. And I think that ends up kind of taken away from the child's life experiences and their development if that expectation level isn't right and isn't really high enough.
No, you're exactly right. And I think that's an important message just to get out to people in general. At the end of the day, you want to just get treated like everyone else with respect and be able to kind of have a good time and participate in, activities just like anyone else would. And I think once you sort of, because I think there's just an unknown and people that are familiar or have anyone in their family or circle that is experiencing autism, you don't know exactly how you're supposed to act. And I think the best message is you just treat them like people and like you would anyone else, with respect, dignity, and it's really as simple as that. And, again, I'm fascinated by like his talent and stuff too, the way he's able to sort of lock in and do all the woodwork and all that and be able to kind of create a business and generate that for himself. That's, really impressive. So they're not limited either. That's another thing people, I think, don't perceive.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But Michelle,
I said before, he's so lucky to have a family that supports him the way that you guys do, because you quit your job. You everything's got for you. But look at what you've done for him.
Yeah, that's what's so important to get the message out, because not everyone's going to be able to do that. And I think that the mom part of this thing is so big. Like Courtney, you're a mom. You know what it's like to be a mom when the children don't have any sort of development disability, and how taxing and all enveloping it is. And so when a mom has a child that just needs that much more support, then it can feel overwhelming. And so we're hoping that more people hear Michelle's story and not only understand how she sort of, you really beat expectations, but like, how do they pull from that, and how do they start with tomorrow, right? And I think that having your child who's a teenager start to have adult friends and be able to experience, the same thing that everyone else gets to do is a huge measure of success. And so, Michelle, at some point, did you think, man, this might not ever happen, that Gregory might be living in the house all day and not have friends and not have relationships?
No, absolutely. Because he wasn't invited to parties. He wasn't, if you think about normalcy, that didn't really happen for him. And so you panic. Will he have friends? Will he be able to go places? Will he do things? So.
And then how did you sort of turn the tide to where now he gets invited to places you're not invited?
That's Mario.
Like on the shaver thing.
But that's a huge
Mario,
accomplishment, right?
Mario, I know he can fly by himself. I wouldn't even get to come down.
That's right.
It's fun watching him, especially in these environments, because not only do they give him independence, but they have, he is around major crowds, major groups. And it's really funny what he does, because if we sit down in the group, he sits right between them, which I was like panicked in the beginning. And Courtney's like, stop. He wants to be right beside both of them, and they could care less. But just watching him, because it's huge, guys. You have no idea, because when we travel, we're together, right? Totally together the whole time. And from the time I see you at Universal until the end, where's Gregory? He's with y'all. He's with y'all. Right. And he's appropriate. He's doing everything, but it's really fun to watch. But I was going to ask you, Courtney, when the kids met him, they were young. Have they ever asked or wondered, or, because I know they go to private schools, which is great, but they're really not exposed. Usually in private schools, you're not exposed to a lot of disabilities. Yeah. So has that helped or hindered, or have they wondered, or have they asked you anything?
They, before they met him, we told them a little bit, just because they were so young and just trying to understand it. And after that, he's just Gregory. They say nothing. They say nothing. I mean, he's Gregory to them.
That's
Yeah,
such a big success to have it be nothing.
Yeah, but
Well,
we
they're so kind.
they know, I've had to take them to children's hospitals for different reasons, and they get to see, some of the kids that are in there, and they get, they get to see stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I'm not happy they do, but I am happy that they get to see that because they, they understand.
I think it's important for other parents out there too to have those conversations with their kids and just kind of goes like, hey, there's special people out in this world, and some have certain challenges that you may not, doesn't make them any different, any less than. It's just or it makes them just a little different, but not any less than, and they're special, and they're all God's kids, and we treat them like everyone else, and we maybe show them a little extra love too. So I think it's important for other parents to kind of have that conversations with their kids, because you need to lead with kindness with everyone, really, but especially
Right.
Like I tell, we all have our own superpowers,
Right.
So we all have different things that we do great and things that we don't do as well, and so. And
I think, they're cool. You mentioned they go to the private school. Yeah, they go to Catholic school, and I think faith-based schools are really good about that. Actually, they're really good about sort of kind of making those points and treating all people with respect and coming from a place of love.
That's great. That's great. I didn't mean anything bad. I was just like, sometimes when they're not exposed around it.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think
it's not a hotty-totty one. It's a faith-based one. So they usually have one.
I didn't mean that we're in a bubble, but I just.
Yeah. We've done several shows about the education system, and it's kind of wild because there's the federal government has done a lot to create standards and to create access for kids with special needs. But at the same time, every school literally has their own strategy, and some of the schools on the public side, it seems like the strategy is to kind of avoid the situation and move the kids off to another school. That's been something Michelle's been leading the charge on, is arming parents with the knowledge to sort of advocate for their kids in the school system, which is super complicated. But I think the example you guys are given, I think that it's hard to tease it out, but the parents that you guys have someone in your family now who has a child with autism, that this friend thing that you guys have done is so important that we hope that people get the concept to kind of reach out to their friends and say, guess what? The development of our child is going to really benefit from having people come in and be that kind of aunt, uncle figure, and be that adult that's not a relative, which is sometimes, super additive. But people might be nervous to kind of start. Because like you said, there are some unknowns. You're you don't know what to expect in terms of behavior, and you feel like you got to be trained. But you guys seem to just dive off into it.
Yeah,
fantastic.
My grandmother, who my mom's mom, both my grandmothers had a bunch of kids, but my mom's mom had 10 kids. Right, my mom had 5 brothers, 5 sisters.
Wow.
And after raising all those kids, she took care of special needs kids.
Wow.
All growing up. So I grew up going to my grandmother's house since I can remember as a little kid, and there were kids with special needs the whole time. So I grew up with it since I was a kid.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, ever since my grandmother lived there, my great grandmother lived there, and she took at least 3, 4 at a time, mind you, and it was interesting to see, because some worked, some would go by themselves, others would stay more at home and stuff. But my mom always, we always just kind of treated them like everyone else, and like kind of just part of the family. So I was always exposed to it, and I just always looked at it like they were God's kids and special. And nothing but full of love. And so I was sort of immersed in that at a really young age. Which it was great. So it doesn't even faze me at all.
That's awesome. That's super cool. Good for her. Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't believe after all those kids, she ended up raising more kids.
That's super mom.
That's a superpower.
that is a superpower. That's super patience. Oh my goodness. That's fantastic. So Mario, Courtney, you guys may not know this, but we're fairly large supporters, have been large supporters of the University of Texas School of Social Work for the last 10 to 15 years, and we've gotten to learn a lot about what social workers do. And there's a whole track for special needs. And what we learned from the former dean of the School of Social Work at University of Texas is that the Latin American community is way behind on diagnosis. Did you know? You ever heard this?
I have not.
That there is a this is a study that the dean did. He was the dean from New York, and then he moved to Texas. But part of his mission, something not that you need anything else to do, but part of his mission was to really focus on the Latin American community, because there became kind of a cultural phenomenon to kind of almost sort of willfully ignore the symptoms. And it's a big problem, because as Michelle's pointed out, and several times in her podcast, she said, like, we came home to the diagnosis and we set up a school and we started training and we started this. And so Gregory benefited from like quick action that started when he was very young.
Right.
And as I understand it, if the intervention starts older, it just becomes less and less effective. So that early adoption, the early recognition is something that's super important. So I think we got to also try to work on trying to get the message out that the diagnosis is not something to be ashamed of, afraid of.
Right.
Certainly not something to ignore, because like a lot of things, the sooner you get on it, the better chance you have to have an outcome like we have with Gregory.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think culturally, Latinos in general may just not be aware or a little confused by all of it. But I think once you raise the awareness level, again, that can only benefit both the child, the family, everyone can benefit from that. But anything I can do, let me know.
Yeah, we got to work on that. The dean was super passionate about it, and he was Latino. His parents were from Puerto Rico, but he made a big effort of it, and he said there was a condition in Spanish, they called it nervicio, but it was almost like their own sort of kind of an explanation of something that wasn't clear, and so
Right.
it didn't get the kind of attention that it gets. And so we're now at a diagnosis rate in the U.S. that's very high, and part of the benefit of what Michelle's doing here is that there's this growing population of adults that can contribute, and as Gregory points out to us, they want to contribute, and so we just need more people to accept them and more people to kind of be willing to build that infrastructure around the way Michelle has.
Yeah.
We're talking about millions of people now.
Right. No, you're exactly right. There is millions. We need more Michelles.
Yeah, right.
We're trying to get Michelle leverage across the millions, so we need your help to get the word out.
All right.
Right. And you will. And this has been great, guys. I know you've got to run to another show, and I appreciate this time so much.
You got it. I can't stress enough for everybody, listening. You guys are like the epitome of how one should sort of, if they find themselves in the situation, sort of kind of handle it and to educate these people. And just as your friends, we're proud to call you friends, and we love Gregory and you guys. Anything we can do to either help raise the awareness level or to kind of further the conversation with other families out there that might be going through it, please don't hesitate to ask.
All right. Well, this has been huge.
You guys have done so much. We really appreciate it.
Yep.
You got it, guys. Hey, nice talking to you.
All right.
We'll see you soon. Okay.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Catch a good one, Sean.
We're trying.
All right.